Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Run It Back. We are back again, the Run It Back boys. Big purr. Should I not make that our thing, Ian? Like, I know you don't know what that is, but Ian knows what that is because he listens to a bunch of rap. Should Big Purr be our thing, or should that not? I don't think. Maybe it shouldn't be.
We could come up with something better. I feel
yeah,
like
we can.
Fans,
maybe
a little bit more fitting than that.
Fans, let us know what you think the Run It Back catchphrase is. But we're back again. We've dabbled into the world of Martin Scorsese. We've dabbled into the world of Quentin Tarantino. And we over here at the Bros Who Think Network, a lot of us are big on directors. And one of Schubert and I's favorite directors is Denis Villeneuve. We figured we were either going to go Christopher Nolan or Villeneuve. We went with Villeneuve first because those two are the best active running directors. Like, I know Scorsese and Tarantino are active, but they're not making a movie a year. Like, those dudes make a movie like every 4 to 5 years. Nolan and Villeneuve are giving us movie after movie after movie. And especially since Dune is about to drop, it's only rightfully so. So we dived into the world of Denis Villeneuve, and we're reviewing Blade Runner 2049. Let me introduce my co-host as always. I'll start to the left, my Bros Who Binge compadre, Mr. Adam Schubert. Shuby, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing all right, man. Talking about a Denis Villeneuve movie, probably the first one I ever saw.
This is the best movie me and you have reviewed in 2 weeks. Like, the last two Bros Who Binge reviews have been, like, movie-wise, have been horrible. From Nomadland to Sound of Metal and now Army of the Dead today. This is the first good movie we reviewed on a pod in a while.
Yeah, that's true. Since the last time we did Running Back, Step Brothers probably was. Yeah. Well,
besides those TV shows, but those don't count. Those aren't movies.
I'm talking about movies.
Yeah, movie. No, you're right. Step Brothers is probably the last good movie we reviewed. I'm happy we reviewed this one. But this movie reassured all of our complaints on Run It Back about Ryan Gosling. And we will get into them when we talk about this movie, because everything I love about him is shown in this, but that makes me think of every other fucking movie choice he's making right now. And it's just like, bro, why do you not go back to your bread and butter? But we're going to talk about that. But glad you're doing well, Shuby. Let's introduce our other co-host, the co-host of Run It Back, the editor of the Bros Who Think podcast, Mr. Ian Hawley. Ian, how you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. Weather is cooling off a little bit. We've had a few hot days here in Michigan,
nice.
But we're getting some rain, so that's good. I got my cactus on the windowsill, and it's thankful for that.
Nice. So you're getting into like summer and spring weather. At least you're not flooding over there, because, bro, a random rainstorm just made the entire Louisiana flood, which I'm shocked about.
Yeah, I don't miss that about living in Louisiana, just constantly having to worry about moving your car somewhere or maybe even leaving the state for a few days.
And the crazy thing is, I never worried about that as a kid. Like, it used to rain all the time. For me to tell my mom, hey, I want to miss school because I'm raining, she'd say, you're fucking dumb. Nowadays, kids are like missing multiple days because of floods that flood out of nowhere. It blows my mind. I don't know why it does this now. But yeah, no, you're right.
There's this new thing. It's called global warming.
Facts.
We might hear a little bit more about it as we go on here.
But we're not that type of pod. We're not gonna do that. But Ian, I'll open it up with you because I know we always have our initial discussions and our initial thoughts of the movies, but we'll get to that. I want to ask you, because me and Schubert have been talking about this for months now. I'd even say at this point, at least a year, about Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling is one of our favorite actors. He, on the Bros Who Binge podcast, we hold certain actors to a standard, as you know, John David Washington, Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Pattinson, and Ryan Gosling, those, and Michael B. Jordan. Those are like our 5 actors. Oh, well, actually, you could take out Pattinson and put Driver for right now. I think Pattinson will be in it after Batman. But those are like our 5. Driver, J.D. Dubs, Michael B. Jordan, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Ryan Gosling. And one of our biggest problems with Ryan Gosling is he has movies like Nice Guys, likes Blade Runner 2049, like Drive, like Only God Forgives, where he's this badass noir, whether it's cop, secret agent, action-y type of person. And he did it in Gangster Squad. And even Nice Guys had a comedic touch to it. It was an action comedy. He wasn't even the gritty person. He showed his range. He showed he could be a goofball. But the point is, besides those movies, he does movies like First Man and fucking and romantic shit. Not Crazy Stupid Love, but First Man. Schubert, what else did he do that we had issues with? Just basically fucking boring movies that are outside of the realm of what he should be doing. And I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about Ryan Gosling? We say he needs to get a new agent because whoever's picking these movies for him are just doing a bad job. Because after seeing this, Ryan Gosling should have been Batman. Ryan Gosling should have been a secret agent like Jack Ryan. Ryan Gosling should have had a cop detective movie by now. Ryan Gosling should have been
in the Eternals.
Richard Madden could have been in Marvel. Could have been a detective. Should have had a Seven type of movie or work with Tarantino or Scorsese. I'm just like, why is he doing this? But instead, he's making shit like First Man. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you all of them because I gotta say them for you to get an accurate assessment. La La Land, fucking. I
mean, you can't really.
I'm not gonna say that. The Wolfman. He's about to be fucking the Wolfman, a werewolf. Fucking just movies like that, and he's doing like a bunch of a musical in there. How do you feel about Ryan Gosling?
I think he's inconsistent is probably the best way to put it. I'm glad you mentioned Crazy Stupid Love.
Great rom-com.
That was the first Ryan Gosling movie I saw, and I enjoyed it. So I know he has the ability to flourish in that kind of role. But even in that movie, he kind of played the more serious, suave character rather than a more laid back, like, if you think of something like Justin Timberlake in Friends with Benefits.
You need to watch. Have you seen Nice Guys?
I have not seen Nice Guys, so I had to.
That shows his range, in my opinion.
You've seen Drive?
So
we're probably going to do Nice Guys on this podcast. We're going to end up doing Nice Guys and Drive on this podcast.
And that would be fine with me. I just think it's hard with actors because you don't know how much of an influence they have on their own movie selection, whether it's more of their agent.
That's why I said he has to get a new agent.
So it could be that, or it could be something to do with the directors in certain movies. I mean, for example, you take Hayden Christensen in Attack of the Clones, and I'm a huge Hayden Christensen apologist.
Jumper was great
because it's not Hayden Christensen's. It's not up to him ultimately as the actor how he portrays the role. It's up to the director. It's up to the screenwriter. It's up to
George Lucas.
Exactly. So if you want to be mad at anybody for how Anakin was portrayed in Attack of the Clones, for example, you got to be mad at George Lucas.
Facts.
I mean, Hayden Christensen can only take so much, editorial steps, if you will. So I wonder how much of this is really Ryan Gosling being Ryan Gosling. And I wonder how much of this is outside influences. So maybe there is something with his agent. Maybe there is something with his own movie selection. But for me, Ryan Gosling is kind of puzzling because he is so inconsistent. And you see good performances across different genres. And so he can do well. So it's frustrating when you see him in a movie that kind of flops or in a role that kind of flops.
Facts. And he's doing another space movie too, by the way, Schubert. I just got it.
Yeah.
Another one like First Man. Like he needs to stay out of space. I don't know what he's doing. It's fucking
ridiculous. The one thing I will say is that I'm surprised that Crazy Stupid Love is the first Ryan Gosling movie you would have ever seen. I would consider
it was mine too.
As Remember the Titans.
Oh wait, yeah, never mind. It is
he
Remember
was
the Titans.
in that, wasn't he? I
don't
think about that.
My first adult Ryan Gosling movie was Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah, because that came out in what, like 2011?
Yeah,
maybe even 2011.
2011.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, that was it, before The Notebook, because I saw that before The Notebook. That's my first Ryan Gosling movie, and I'm just like, yo, he is a great actor. He's on the Bros Who Binge list, so we're getting two of the people on the Bros Who Binge list of our favorite actor and one of our favorite directors in Denis Villeneuve. And Schubert, let's have this conversation now, like I just did with Ian. Let's do it about Denis Villeneuve. He hasn't missed. Like, he really hasn't missed. If you look at Denis Villeneuve's movie list, which I'm about to pull up his movies, and I'm only counting his American Hollywood releases. I know he has movies in France, but I haven't seen those. So we're only discussing the Hollywood American movies, but we'll watch the French ones eventually. But neither of us speak French, and unless they have subtitles, it ain't working. So, but in terms of movies, he hasn't missed. Let's look at it. You have Prisoners, which starts off the American run in 2013. You have Enemy, you have Sicario, you have Arrival, you have Blade Runner 2049. His next movie is Dune, and then he's doing the Cleopatra movie with Gal Gadot. Schubert, to me, he has to be the top director in Hollywood, even over Nolan. And I know we love Nolan, but Nolan might have some misses. If you don't put him over Nolan, then he's second. There's no one. It's those two dudes.
Yeah. I mean, it all depends on your criteria, because I mean, there are some other guys that would
Paul
probably
Thomas Anderson
be up there in that list based upon longevity, but when it comes to
young guys, up
and comers, people who have really just stepped on the scene, he really is the guy. Because what we're going to talk about here is that really all those movies since Prisoners are all critically acclaimed,
great
certified
movies.
fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, great movies, great actors.
Some of the movies of those years, like when you look at 2016, Arrival is up there for best movie of 2016. When you look at Prisoners is up there at the best movies of 2013. I can't say that for Blade Runner, but Sicario, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Blade Runner, I can't say it's the best movie of 2017, but it's one of the.
But it was definitely in the conversation in the Oscars, whether it was for what it won in cinematography or I think they had 2 other nominations.
They had 3 others. We're gonna get to in background. Yeah. They had a lot. They had a lot. But you're absolutely right. And I wanted to ask you. We might as well do the conversation now. And Ian, once we review more Denis Villeneuve movies, we'll get your input. But what would you say is the best Denis Villeneuve movie? And you think it's Prisoners hands down?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I love Prisoners as well. Arrival's really good, man.
Yeah, Arrival's really good. And
now the rewatchability of Arrival is in question because once you know what happens.
Well, the rewatch of Prisoners is in question for the same reason.
But I think, and this is no disrespect to Amy Adams because I think she's one of the best actresses. We're going to talk about her today in Bros Who Binge. When this is out, you guys will hear that and see where we rank her amongst the top 25. But Prisoners, like, you can go back to Gyllenhaal's performance. You can go back to Jackman. There's some good things in terms of the acting and just a quality detective movie where I don't think the twist matters. And even as you're watching it, it convinces you that the twist isn't going to come, but it comes. Whereas with Arrival, once you know the twist, you're looking for, disconnect. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with Arrival, I would probably put Arrival right behind it.
Yeah.
But right behind Prisoners. But it is kind of a drag in a sense. Like, it's not like bad, but like there are points in the movie where it's not like you check out, but you're kind of like, okay, well, like
it's deliberately paced for sure. And this movie was deliberately paced as well. And that's why I don't think I can have this movie above those 2 movies. This movie's runtime, like as I'm coming to the end, getting ready to review this, I'm like, yo, they could have cut some of this. Like I was thinking. I get Roger Deakins has some beautiful scenery, but I had enough of seeing the scenery at one point. And that's no disrespect to this movie because it's great. But if I had to nitpick, that's a nitpick. Now,
I remember the first time I ever tried to watch this movie, there were times where like the pace just had me so off. I was just like, where are we going? Like, what is going on right now? Like, yeah, it's one of those movies, and you even said it yourself when we were talking about it earlier, how you couldn't watch it at 2 a.m. because there's just too much going on.
It wouldn't have worked. Like some movies I can watch at 2 a.m. and like not fall asleep. And that's no disrespect to this movie, but there's moments of this movie that's just scenery for like 5 minutes. And that would put me to sleep. I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it. And that's why I'm going to ask you, where do you rank it? Because I'm with you. Prisoners is 1A. I have Arrival 1B, but then I go Sicario 2. And then I put this one 3rd above Enemy. Now, I know you haven't seen Sicario yet. Basically, my question is Enemy better than this movie? No. Okay, cool. All right, just making sure.
But Enemy's great.
Enemy is great. Yeah, no, for sure.
It's the shortest of all of his movies.
And something that he does well is twist. Funny enough, Blade Runner has a twist, Arrival has a twist, Sicario has a twist, Prisoners has a twist, and Enemy has a pretty damn big twist.
Yeah, it's not even a stated twist.
That's crazy. Just now, us talking about it, Denis Villeneuve's the new twist guy. I wonder if Dune's going to have a twist. Probably not, because it's pretty straightforward with the book, but, we shall see. Now, since we're speaking on Denis Villeneuve, the final thing is, before we get into this, rewatching Blade Runner has only lit my excitement for Dune, because the way the guy tells a sci-fi movie is just nuts. This Blade Runner was incredible. And Ian, you can jump in on this as well. Does watching this movie raise your excitement for Dune?
Yeah, I think so. I have been, seeing some of the stuff that's been coming out for Dune. Just reading a little bit into the background of it. I haven't seen the original, so that's
You don't have
definitely
to.
something I'm going to do.
It has nothing to do with the book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to try and watch that before I watch this.
If anything, you got to watch. If anything, you got to read the book. And it's super long.
I haven't read a book since I shouldn't say when, because I was
just wait for the movie.
Not too recently, but yeah, I'm away for the movie on that one. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. For as long as it was, there were only a couple of moments where I felt like the pacing was off. There is kind of a lack of dialogue at some points, in my opinion, but I wasn't like taken out of the movie.
No, same.
And it was my first time watching it. I watched it last night for this recording, and I got through it okay. I mean, it was a long movie, but I wasn't like mad at the movie at any time. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't wishing they had done something differently. I thought, could they have cut some things down? Absolutely, but it worked as this current length. I thought it was okay.
For sure. And since Ian did perfect job of saying how he's excited for Dune and give his initial thoughts, Schubert, go ahead and answer the question. Does this get you more excited for Dune? And then you might as well give your initial thoughts, and then I'll give mine, and then we'll jump into the show.
For Dune, yeah, I mean, I think that especially this being the movie that he did right before Dune, I think this was the whole reason he got that part.
Showed his sci-fi skills. If I was you, I would want him in the world of Star Wars.
I don't know.
I don't want another Star Wars movie.
Yeah, well, that's different.
Star
that's
Wars
a different
should be
thing.
over.
So Star Wars is a little bit too campy for what he's trying to do. Yeah, like this is this movie reminds you of like the original Blade Runner, almost the original Dune, Logan's Run,
and let's save that conversation.
70s, 80s.
Which one's better, this movie or the original Blade Runner? We'll have that at the end of the review, because I think that's very important. Because I think this movie did something amazing in taking nostalgia and just raising the bar. Like, this movie is great he had a stacked deck. He had a film that at first was a flop, but then considered a cult classic, and put it out and was super successful. So
that's true.
Yeah.
So I guess we're not saving that till the end.
Well, no, we'll say it, because I don't think I said which one I thought was better, but I think we should definitely discuss on that. But give us your initial thoughts, Shuey.
Well, my initial thoughts is in general, as much of a sci-fi person I am, I'm not really much of a Blade Runner person. So
yeah, I knew that.
It's not really like anything that I get too excited about. I really feel like the movie itself is very well done and well acted, and, beautiful cinematically. But it's just not anything that I ever really dwell on or think about.
Sounds like Ian is not the hater in this movie. Neither am I. Sounds like this is Schubert's movie to hate on. We got our hater of the group. We always have one. But it's okay.
Usually me, so I'm glad to take a night off.
I've been the hater sometimes, and it's Schubert's turn. So we get, but it doesn't mean you dislike the movie. Yeah. It's just not your theme of sci-fi that you go to.
Yeah, because like I said, it does remind me of the older movies. Like, it's the way that it is paced. It feels like old the original. Sci-fi.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's why I feel like it's gonna be really why he's perfect for Dune, because that's exactly what Dune was before, and it should be now. So yeah,
100%. Well, let me give my initial thoughts are: love this movie. I think Denis Villeneuve tells a perfect story when it comes to investigations, detectives, hitman, that type of stuff. I think he does an incredible job with that. This movie reminds me so much of Ghost in the Shell, of Cowboy Bebop, of those space western sci-fi movies that I love. And like Schubert said, it takes the original's DNA and it doesn't tread on it. It doesn't replicate it. It does its own thing, but still keeps the original's DNA in it. It's a true sequel in the sense of the word. And I really think in terms of sci-fi westerns and sci-fi cop stuff, this is one of the best. And you don't really think of it as that, but when I watched it, it really reminded me of that, from the attire to the hover cars to the way he moves about. I thought everything about this was in my alley, in my bag, and I really, really loved it. So
yeah, that's the one thing about this franchise, is that it's not really a franchise that people are having conventions about and stuff like that. So it's kind of under the radar of how big of a role it plays in the sci-fi movie community.
Super influential. Yeah, 100%. Like, without Blade Runner 2049, I don't know if we get Ghost in the Shell. I don't know if we get Trigon. I don't know if you get Cowboy Bebop. Like, as much as we accredit Akira, as much as we accredit Star Wars and Akira Kurosawa for their influence. Oh, and Sergio Leone with Good, Bad, the Ugly on things of sci-fi westerns. You have to give credit to Blade Runner for what it's done, from thematics to look to just everything about it. 100% influenced the sci-fi genre. To the look of the city and the neon shit and the way that we think of the future. When I think of the future, I think of the Blade Runner world. I don't think of Star Wars world. I don't think of Star Trek world. I think of the Blade Runner, dirty, gritty city with just beautiful neon lights for the fakeness of the wealth and the opulence that America would do. But in reality, there's slums under all of those beautiful lights and big buildings.
Yeah, just a real big bleak outlook on the future for you, Lyndon.
But I want it, though. I want it, Ian, and I want to wear trench coats. And no, Ian, like, bro, you have no idea. I want to wear a trench coat. I want to have, like, my glasses up, my fucking hood up, walking around, have my gun on my hip, getting in my hover car, driving around and doing bounties, bro. Like, that's my future. Carry me a cyber, a fucking laser sword katana. Like, that's what I want.
I don't know what we can do for you about the laser sword, but we could definitely hook you up with a trench coat if you want one so bad.
Yeah, nice. What is it? What is it on Always Sunny that Matt calls that trench coat or whatever?
Oh, the duster.
The duster. Bro, I want a duster so bad. Like, if y'all love me, y'all should fucking, as a network present, y'all should all come together and get me a fire duster. I wear a double XL.
You got to wear it on every Run It Back from now on.
I will, bro. Ian, you have no idea how much I want that black. Like, I love Trigon. Schubert knows I love Cowboy Bebop. They wear fucking dusters. That is my jam. But digress. Let's get into the show. The way the show works is we go over the background of the film. We then get into best scenes, who won the movie, who lost the movie, six man of the movie, and then we ask any additional questions. Today's questions include best shot of the movie, if y'all remember them, because I didn't tell them before. I kind of just sprung it on them on the fly. And then, is this a better than the original? And do we want more sequels from this franchise? But let's jump into background, because there's a lot. Blade Runner 2049 is a 2017 American neo-noir science fiction film directed by Denis Villeneuve and written by Hampton Fancher and Michael Green, a sequel to the 1982 film Blade Runner. This film stars Ryan Gosling, Harrison Ford, Ana de Armas, Sylvia Hoeks, Robin Wright, Mackenzie Davis, Carly Jury, Lenny James, Dave Bautista, and Jared Leto. And we'll talk about the cast before we get into best scenes, because I think this is a very good cast. Edward James Olmos reprised their roles for their original film. Gosling plays Kate, a Nexus 9 replicant Blade Runner who uncovers a secret that threatens to destabilize society in the course of civilization. For those who don't know what a Blade Runner is, it's a cop that is assigned to the maintaining of the order within replicants, which are robots that in the first movie were slaves for humanity. They then break free and have like a fucking war, I guess. A revolution. And then they end up getting their freedom. But there's like 3 replicants in the original movie that are like terrorists. Harrison Ford's job is to put them down, and they're really free in this one. But their job, if they go over their like a baseline like anger level, then these guys' job is to put them down and hunt them. Also take out all the old ones. Now, the ideas for the Blade Runner sequel were first proposed in the 1990s, but licensing issues stalled their development. Andrew Kosov and Broderick Johnson obtained the film rights from Bud Yorkin. Ridley Scott stepped down as the film's initial director and worked as executive producer. While Villeneuve was later appointed to direct, Blade Runner 2049 was financed through Alcon Pictures, Sony Pictures partnership, and a Hungarian government-funded tax rebate. Crazy. Warner Brothers, on behalf of Alcon, distributed the film in North America, while Sony distributed it internationally. Kozov originally wanted Christopher Nolan to direct this movie. Real quick, how would y'all have felt if Blade Runner was a Christopher Nolan film?
I mean, I feel like it would be different, but I think they had a general direction for what they were trying to do. You know, obviously it takes so much tones from the original Blade Runner. I feel like Nolan probably is a fan and probably would have tried to stay close to it.
The difference is Nolan wanted to do his version of the script. Nolan was not going to do the script that Denis did, but Nolan had an idea for original script, and that's why he didn't end up getting the job.
That's interesting. I mean, if we maybe get the Nolan cut eventually, that would be
we'll
cool
never get the Nolan cut. We need like the Nolan script leak. That's what we need.
Well, they did the Blade Runner with the final cut, I think they called it, because they had an alternate ending, I believe. So
that's just because Ridley Scott filmed like 14 different endings to the original. Ridley Scott was wilding. Ridley Scott was also signed on to the film's director, but he just didn't have the heart to do it. He ended up doing Alien Covenant instead. And then Denis Villeneuve ended up chosen. He had a relationship from Prisoners, and they really loved it, and they said that he was the perfect guy to do it. Now, another interesting thing, David Bowie was once considered, well, actually not once, was the person that Villeneuve wanted to be Mr. Wallace, but he ended up passing away right as he finished the script, and Jared Leto was the second choice. Ryan Gosling was always the first choice for Denis Villeneuve. If Gosling said no, he was looking into Jake Gyllenhaal to be, because this is right after Prisoners. This is right after Enemy. They had a relationship.
It's his guy.
Yeah, that's his guy. But he saw Only God Forgives and Drive and thought that there was no better person to be Agent K than Gosling if it wasn't going to be Gyllenhaal. And I mean, if you watch Drive and Only God Forgives, he's very similar in Drive to this movie. So it makes a lot of sense. Also, I had another interesting one, Schubert, that I thought you would have liked about Anna de Armas. Hold on.
While you're looking for that, the one that I know casting wise is that Dave Bautista almost wasn't cast because he was too young. Because he plays since he plays an older replicant. But the makeup artist, he was brought in to do a test of the makeup. And the makeup artist pretty much got him the role, because they did such a good job.
Hopefully he shared that paycheck.
Nice. Okay, so this is what I had. This was for Ian, not Schubert. Ian, rapper LP from Run the Jewels was set to compose this, but he couldn't do it because either he was rejected or they just didn't like the direction he was going. He was going super techno and rap, and I could see LP doing that. I'm glad he didn't get it because I don't think it fit for him. They thought of Johan Johannesson, who worked on Prisoner, Sicario, and Arrival, but they didn't do it because they thought they needed a different vibe. And they ended up going with Hans Zimmer and Brendan Walsh, which I think was the best choice for the score. Blade Runner 2049 grossed $92.1 million in the United States and Canada and $168.4 million in other territories for a worldwide total of $260.5 million. It had a production budget between $150 and $185, so it broke even. It did well, but it didn't do that well, and it makes sense because the original film didn't do that well. The project film needed to break even and was estimated around $400 million in 2017. They expected that it would lose about $80 million, but it ended up not losing $80 million. And the Hollywood Reporter were off with their numbers a little bit. So that's what they grossed. Blade Runner 2049, however, was received very well by the American press and the critics. Critical reviews compared the sequel favorably to the original, said it was a worthy successor, advancing the franchise's mythos and even doing areas better than the original in terms of the tonal shifts in the story and the philosophical aspects to the story. Some critics said they felt was handled better in this one than the original. Blade Runner 2049 has received numerous awards and nominations. At the 90th Academy Awards, it was nominated for 5 awards, and it won Best Cinematography for Roger Deakins, and it was nominated for Best Visual Effects, for John Nelson, Garrett Nesfer, Paul Lambert, and Richard R. Hoover as well. Oh no, it won for visual effects as well, so it won 2.
Yeah, I was
it was
about to
nominated
say.
for 5. I think it was nominated for best director as well.
No, it was
And
best achievement in production design, sound mixing, and sound editing.
there we go. My gosh, Schubert got us. I don't know where I saw best director, but that's pretty much all. Oh, here's the opening text because I think it's important to set up the movie. I just wrote it down. Replicants are bioengineered humans designed by the Tyrell Corporation for use off-world. Their enhanced strength made them ideal slave labor. After a series of violent rebellions, their manufacture became prohibited and Tyrell Corp went bankrupt. The collapse of the ecosystem in the mid-2020s led to the rise of industrialist Neander Wallace, whose mastery of synthetic farming averted famine. Wallace acquired the remains of Tyrell Corp and created a new line of replicants who obey. Many older model replicants, Nexus 8s, with open-ended lifespans survived, and they're hunted down and retired. And those that hunt them still go by the name Blade Runner.
Yeah, thinking about that award season that you were talking about, just to kind of give some perspective, because that was 2018. For people who don't remember, that was a pretty big year for the Oscars. They won
Oscars. Let's see.
They won Best Achievement in Visual Effects against Kong Skull Island, War of the Planet of the Apes, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
As it should have.
They lost sound editing to Dunkirk, which makes sense. And
as they
sound mixing. And cinematography, they were up against Dunkirk, which is a pretty big win for them. The Shape of Water, who was the eventual winner for Best Picture.
That's what I was about to ask. Is this better than
Darkest Hour and Mudbound?
Is this better than Shape of Water, Schubert? Do you think the Oscars made a mistake looking back at it?
Well, the Oscars made a mistake that year because they probably should have given this to Get Out or Lady Bird.
Yeah, I agree.
Get Out and Lady Bird are both better than Shape of Water.
And I think both of those movies are better than this too. So I definitely, I'm with you on that. But I think it should have won Best Director because I think what Villeneuve did is a masterclass in directing. If they don't give it to him, I think Nolan should have won for Dunkirk, being of like how it was so little few shots, and I think it was all not one take, but it was like it wasn't that many takes, and that inspired 1917.
Yeah, that was a hard year to be Blade Runner 2049. I mean, then directing, Guillermo wins for Shape of Water, which he did a phenomenal job. I mean, the movie was about a mute person. Like there's a lot of directing that had to be done in that.
True. And I don't think Gosling should have won Best Actor either. I think Gary Oldman deserved it for Darkest Hour, what he did.
Yeah.
Now, I will say supporting actress, Ana de Armas might have got robbed. Because I thought she was great in this.
It's hard because, you're going up against Allison Janney, who was fantastic in I, Tonya. And you're going up against Laurie Metcalf, did good in Lady Bird. Octavia Spencer was good in The Shape of Water. Mary J. Blige from Mudbound. Like that was. It was a hard year.
Maybe not Allison Janney, but I'm taking Ana de Armas over all those other people just because the emotion that Anna did in this movie was incredible and ended up getting her the role in Knives Out, getting her all these, like without 2049, I don't think she becomes what she becomes today.
No, I mean, that was her, I'm going to look up what she was doing before then, but I'm pretty sure that was it for her. I mean, like,
this was a breakout.
I don't remember her before this.
No, me neither. So while you look that up, we can start the show. Let's get into best scenes. Now, I don't have as many scenes for this movie as the others. So y'all, if y'all need to add some, let me know. I'll come to y'all after I say, I'll do some and then come to y'all. So basically I said, first thing I wrote down was, what beautiful shots to start the movie. I see why they won the Oscars that they did with Roger Deakins cinematography and then the effects guy. Beautiful, beautiful shots. But the first scene I have is the entire Gosling and Batista, aka Sapper Morgan, sequence for determining if he's a replicant and to the fight. Love the little scanner droid or robot that took the pictures. And I also wrote, it's crazy how they find the serial numbers under the replicant's iris and eyeballs. Yeah. That fight was dope.
Well, and that's where you get the quote that kind of echoes through, I guess his name is Kay. Yeah.
Because I wrote that down multiple times. I'm so glad you caught that.
Yeah. He says, you newer models are okay with
scrapping up the
being the
shit.
slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've never witnessed a miracle.
Facts. And you see that miracle come back time and time again, but just real fast. And then like in 3 minutes, you hear it twice about well, not 3 minutes, but like in the next 20 minutes, you're going to hear that twice about two situations. And I wrote both of those down. But the little amount of action that happened in this movie was small, but each time a fight broke out, it was very impactful and very strong. Like just seeing Gosling versus Batista, it just shows me that could have been our Batman and Bane matchup. I'm just like, what is Gosling doing?
Well, I feel like this movie really kind of hits home for that point that you've made on the Bros Who Binge before, where who really does have the better wrestler actor career? Is it Bautista or is it The Rock and John Cena? Like Bautista in this movie, like
Great.
That was a phenomenal acting job. In a
Thank
short
you,
little
Schubert.
bit that is like better than a lot of the stuff
The
that
Rock does.
other wrestlers would put out.
Ian, I've been making this point. I've asked this multiple times on Bros Who Binge now. It's my ongoing theory about Batista. Batista is a better actor than both John Cena and The Rock. The Rock is just a bigger movie star.
See, I don't think it's fair to compare Bautista to John Cena just simply based on the roles they've had.
Okay.
But looking at the few Rock movies I've seen, I saw the one where he was like the Tooth Fairy, and the one where he's like, I think it's actually called The Tower, and then
you talking about Skyscraper?
Yeah, Skyscraper. That's what it is.
It's Die Hard. He wanted it to be Die Hard so bad.
Also, not that great.
Trash.
And the one where he's with Kevin Hart with Jumanji. That's what it was. The Jumanji reboot.
That's a good one. But he's not. I wouldn't say he's movies, the best in that.
No,
that's true. I mean, he's definitely got Kevin Hart to help push things along as well.
Jack Black was great.
Jack Black was great as well. So I don't know if it's fair to compare this showing from Bautista to one where The Rock or John Cena is in the entire movie and has more to do and has more,
that's my thing.
Things
Ian,
to live up to.
They have more to do in all those movies, but what Bautista does in this 15 minutes is incredible. Like, Schubert, am I off with this?
No, I mean, I completely agree that like the output of what Bautista is doing with his roles is probably better than the output that we've seen from some of the other guys.
Like Bautista's worst work is Drax. That's his worst work.
And he's talked about how they made that his worst work. Like that it was more them than him based on the script.
From Spectre to this to fucking Army of the Dead.
Which,
even
he's not the worst part of that.
Even Stuber, he's not bad in. Hotel Artemis, he's solid. And then we're about to get him in. I know y'all haven't seen this, but Man with the Iron Fist, the RZA movie, which is like a Japanese movie, he plays one of the villains. He's great in that as well. And I think from Dune, he's about to be a similar role to this Inspector, but it's a bigger role. He's like the right-hand lieutenant to the main evil guy. I'm just saying, Bautista can act.
Yeah, and it's like what you said before when you were making that point is, sure, maybe The Rock is the bigger movie star, but like
the biggest.
What movie has The Rock been in that shakes a fist to Blade Runner 2049 or Dune or a lot of these movies that
like Hobbs and Shaw is Hobbs and Shaw could have been better if The Rock's a better actor, but instead it's more comedy than action.
I don't know if that was his fault.
Yeah, I don't know if that's his fault either, but it's the way he portrays the words. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just not a big Jason Statham fan, if I'm being quite honest.
Then that's
I don't
fair
think he's
too.
a very good actor. I think he kind of plays the same role in every movie, kind of like similar to a Liam Neeson.
He does. But Raffaman, his new movie, great. Shout out to Jason Statham. But but he does play the same roles. That's all I'm asking about Batista, because this was great, man. The depth of emotion that we saw from Batista in this small sample size was so huge. The way he talked about the miracles, the way you could see the exhaustion on his face when he saw that guy being there, like, fuck this, let's get this over with. He puts his glasses on, everything that he does, taking off his helmet. It's like this dude has been beaten down, and he's so sick of just this unjust world that he's like, fuck it. I don't even feel like giving you the satisfaction of figuring this out. I'm gonna just fight you because I know what that's gonna lead to. I know it's coming. And it was just great, man. It was really, really powerful stuff from Bautista. Shout out to him. And the next scene that I wrote down is Gosling sees Morgan grew a flower, which is nearly impossible to grow now, aka one of the miracles that Sapper was describing. And then I go Gosler. Oh, and then do y'all have any other scene inside of this, or can I keep going?
That's pretty much it.
Are you about to talk about how he finds the bones of the replicant who died or whatever? Yeah.
Yep. He finds the bones, and then the next thing I was going to write is Gosling sees Miracle grew a flower. Oh, no. Gosling goes to take his baseline test and checks in with the department, shows the racism between humans and the replicants when one cop calls him a skin job. And we then meet Joy, which is his hologram GF, aka Anna de Armas, which I think is funny that her name is Joy, Joi. And if anybody, look, call me a nasty dude, call me a sick dude, but all dudes know what JOI stands for: jerk off instructions, and he 100% did it. Spelled it JOI because it's jerk off instructions. I don't care what anybody says, because at the end, when you see her standing, it's just her titties and her cooter. It's 100% JOI for jerk off instructions. Ian, am I off? You know what I'm talking about. Do you think he did that because of that? Schubert, do you think he did that because of that? Yes.
Didn't make that connection until just now, but yeah, it's probably how that happened.
Ian, you made that connection before because you were laughing. I know you did.
Yeah, I thought about it and I was like, oh, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the asshole in this scenario. But I guess if you were thinking about it too, then I can't be the only one in dark corners of the internet late at night. So
y'all let us know in the comment. Are we dirty, nasty dudes for thinking that Joy meant jerk off instructions, or are we on the right track?
Well, I mean, the other part of that is that definitely is what it was intended, and like I feel like that almost hammers home the point a little bit more of what that represents in that world.
Exactly,
that's exactly what it is. I mean,
and that's the thing, because the entire movie, people are looking at him crazy for falling in love with this thing when it's a sex robot.
Yeah,
or not even a robot, a sex hologram.
Yeah, I mean, like once you get farther down into the movie and you see like the advertisements for Joy and stuff like that, and like the similarities that other Joys make with his Joy that he felt was so singular to him. That's honestly, I could talk about Joy a lot in this, because we were talking how Anna de Armas was good. I felt like
she killed
that. The Joy thing was a really interesting,
great concept
part of the movie.
Yep, really was.
You hear the advertisements as they're introducing Gosling's character. When you first see him leave the police station, you can hear in the background the PA system going off about Joy goes wherever you want her to go. Joy does whatever you want her to do.
And that's another thing, because it's based upon your instructions. That's why she acted like that. No, that's a fucking fact. Like 100%.
We're back to this.
And Schubert, you can go into more Joy as we get to her scenes, because I definitely think she's very important to this movie. So the next scene I have after a meeting, is Joy goes outside for the first time when he gets her the portable like box to which she can live in or whatever. And when the rain touches her skin and everything, it really shows like just the different emotions between them, and it really shows how good of actress she is connecting with Gosling, who is really just like a stick of wood at this point, like not giving her anything to work off of. It's mainly just her because he's just brooding.
Pretty much.
Well, I think one of the things that we kind of glossed over is like, as I watched Blade Runner a few months ago, and I went and looked up, some more information on it because I was just curious. And one of the things that fans were asking on the internet is, was Harrison Ford's character a replicant as well? But in this movie, they come right out and say
he wasn't.
Ryan Gosling is a replicant, so they're taking that off the table.
Yeah.
So I think it was interesting. One of the things that I first thought about when they introduced Joy in the movie was, okay, so you got a robot in love with a hologram, or dating a hologram. Like, we've moved past really any human interaction or contact or influence at that point.
And I think it's interesting he flipped it, because like you said, he's a replicant at first, but the thing that people are thinking about the entire time is he the half replicant, half human android chosen one. And that's the theme in question of this movie. Like,
and he's starting to think that too.
Yeah. What makes you a human? What makes you have a soul? What determines if you're alive or not? Those are all the questions being asked from this movie, even from the Joy perspective. Is she alive? Does the fact that she loved mean she's someone with a soul, or is it just computer programming that she's given to fulfill this man's fantasy? That's the...
See, when I was first watching it, I didn't make the connection right away that it was like this, widespread, product, I guess.
Mhm.
So I was thinking like, okay, Ryan Gosling, like, has got this hologram in his house. The first thing that my mind went to was like, okay, he recreated like his dead wife or something like that. But then as the movie goes on, you see more and more of the advertising and realize that no, this is something that probably most people have in their house, either as just like a personal assistant, or there's probably some lonely guys who
That's what I just thought of,
have
Ian.
the same thing going.
Oh man, in the Blade Runner
2049 pocket pussy.
Schubert, exactly. Like this is the boyfriend girlfriend argument in Blade Runner 2049. Like, and nowadays people are like, you can't have an OnlyFans, you can't have a pocket pussy. And in their universe, girls are telling dudes you can't have a Joy. That's hilarious.
Well, and even as the movie goes on. Well, I guess we can get to that in a minute. Never mind. I don't want to jump ahead here.
So the next scene I have is we find out that the woman Sapper buried was pregnant, referencing the miracles again. And I just thought that was a great scene. We see Wood Harris, Schubert, our boy Wood Harris from The Wire,
Wasn't he in Remember the Titans too?
Yeah, he was in Remember the Titans.
He was,
and he was in the New Edition movie. One of the best black actors, low key. One of the best character actors, low key. He should get more roles because every time he's on screen, he does a great job.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Also, Dan Dismalchian's in there too.
Yeah, he was. He played Coco was his name?
Yeah, I think so. He's the scientist who calls him a skin job and is like, "Oh, my bad, sorry, bro."
Well, right after that, when he goes home, you see it's
Skinner.
like F.U. Skinner on his door.
More about the racism in that world.
Yeah, very widespread at that point. People's opinions of the replicants,
and that goes
after that point, they had been in war with them.
Yeah, facts. And that goes to Robin Wright's point of the next scene I wrote down of Robin Wright and Gosling's conversation about killing the baby. And the real convo was about, do they have a soul or not? And she's like, I don't give a fuck if y'all do. My job is to maintain order so humans don't fight each other again. Humans have a common enemy. It used to be about race. And I know this is me pontificating and really diving into what she was saying, but it's true about her maintaining order so that way they all have a common enemy and war doesn't have to break out, because if the replicants weren't there, humanity would just fight each other. And now humans have a common cause of something they hate, which is the replicants.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they don't have
something that they also need.
Exactly. They don't have the same problems with slave labor. There's a great quote further along in the movie about that, but again, we can get to that.
You can say it if you want.
No, I mean, we haven't even talked about that character yet. So
okay.
Yeah,
the one quote that I think meant a lot in this conversation that I've been thinking about. I think we kind of went over it, but when Kay is asked to retire the child,
yep,
and he's like, I've never retired anything that was born before.
Yep, and she's like, I don't give a damn.
She was like, are you telling me no? And he said, I didn't think that was an option.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just the hired help here.
Crazy. I felt so bad for him. If I'm missing any scenes, y'all just go ahead and stop me. But the next scene I have is the meeting of Jared Leto. Us meeting him for the first time, meeting Wallace, and meeting his lady or whatever. Then I had
that was like way down in the movie, right?
No. I'm just talking about the first time where we see him in it's like he's like silhouetted in like it's a brief moment. I'm not talking about when Gosling goes to the corporation.
Okay.
Yeah. No. The next thing I have is Anna de Armas convincing Gosling that he is the chosen one. The starting of that of him convincing him that he is the chosen one that he's looking for. And then I go, Kay gets shot with the this is when he's driving along. Kay gets shot with the EMP and crashes into the dump. I put this scene in here because one, we learned that the car of the future is made by the Pidgeot. It's a Pidgeot car from the French models. Because they scan it on the they show it when they zoom in. So I'm assuming that's who paid a little bit. But interesting to note that hover cars are made by Pidgeot. And then I put it.
You mean Puget?
Oh, Puget, whatever it's called. I don't fucking know, Ian. Puget, whatever. But it's
Thinking
the
about Pokemon.
Yeah, I was saying the Pokemon name. Yeah, it's the Puget model. And the other reason why I put this scene in here because of the crazy action. Gosling is just straight killing people with no remorse, and Leto's lady is just blowing shit up, shooting rockets everywhere.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting, that dynamic. She obviously they have eyes in the sky, and they're the big Skynet type tech company at that
Nice
point.
reference.
Thank you. I do my best. But their desire to see him fulfill this mission outweighs anything that they might feel towards him personally.
Facts.
So she kind of helps him along with that. Just the ex machina coming in with the rockets. When all these, like, I don't know, sand people or whatever you want to call them,
Scavengers. Yeah. And that's my point that I said earlier. Every time action happens in this movie, it's small, but every time it happens, it's impactful and it's powerful. Like the way Gosling just knocked those dudes out, took that gun out, shot, put 3 bullets in them. It happened so fast, but it was like, yo, what the fuck? Dude is a savage. So
yeah.
The next thing I have after that is Gosling meets Anna and discusses memory.
Yeah, so
he goes to the dude in the child sweatshop, right?
Yeah, he talks to the black guy first. I just didn't put that scene down. If y'all have anything about that, y'all can go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, what I can't remember if it was a sweatshop or an orphanage or something.
It was the orphanage. It wasn't. It was like an orphanage that got money through.
Working.
Yeah.
It had child labor.
Yeah,
that's the scene where he goes and he finds the wooden horse.
Yep.
And so he starts putting. That's where he starts thinking. And as the viewer, you're starting to think as well. You're like, oh well,
he's the chosen one.
This wooden horse is real. Then like maybe his memories are real.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was thinking, he's at least part human if these memories that he has are real and they're his. Because at first he wasn't sure what memories he had were real.
Which ones
and
were implanted. Yeah.
But then he realizes, or at that point he's thinking, okay, there must be more to this than me just being a standard replicant.
And he thinks he's the chosen
had this memory. I got this wooden horse now to prove it. The date matches the date that was on the bottom of the tree when he went to kill Sapper Morton.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of starting to see his own involvement in this whole thing as much more than just the cop investigating the case.
That's a fact. And then you expound on that when he meets Anna and discusses memory. This is the daughter of Rachel and Deckard. I think her name is Anna. And Gosling meets her, discusses memory. He then freaks out in front of her because he's dealing with the trauma that he thinks that he is this person. But if you realize, and I didn't realize this the first time I watched it, it didn't happen until the third time, which was this one. Anna starts to cry, and and at first when you watch it, you think it's because, oh shit, she realizes that he could be part human. No, she's crying because those are her memories, and she realizes that she's this person that he's talking about, and it's her memories that trigger her to cry, but she can't say anything to him because she doesn't want to endanger herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't even catch that. I thought that when he goes to meet the memory maker the first time, I thought that was a different person than the woman who appears at the end.
That's the same one.
Her hair was like wildly different, was it not? I thought she had like lighter brown curly hair.
It was the same one, I think.
Hair. Is it? Okay, maybe I just need to go back and watch it again. I thought they were two different people.
But that's why she's crying, because she realized it's her memories that have been implanted in him, and she just feels bad for him because she's the person.
Now, Ian, I don't know too much for sure because I did watch it a couple days ago, but maybe they could have cloned her, or like had another person represent her, not like the exact person it was. But I mean, it was the same lady.
It was the same one for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. No, and that because that's the purpose of Deckard going. That's why Gosling brings him there, because he knows where she is, and only certain amount of people know who she is. So. That, and I have that one. Okay, after he freaks out. Also, that's the famous meme of Gosling screaming when he's down there. That's the famous internet gif. So that I thought that was cool. But the next thing I have is Gosling gets arrested by his peeps, and then Robin writes like, I give you 48 hours to get your affairs in order, and he lies to her and tells her he kills the baby because he thinks it's himself still at this point. The next thing I
Yeah.
have is Ana de Armas merging with Mackenzie Davis to Schmang. And I literally wrote down Schmang.
You've been a sicko with this movie so far. We got jerk off instructions. We got
that's the real term. That's not me. That's the real term. But Schmang, that's all me. Crazy how this movie introduces us not only to Ana de Armas, but Mackenzie Davis, who starts to have big career after she was in Terminator, even though that movie wasn't successful. But she's been in a lot of stuff after this.
And it introduced Lynn to jerk off instructions.
No, it did not. I can be honest, it did not. But
a little bit of self-incrimination now.
A little bit.
The whole dynamic between those three people, I guess Joy technically is a person.
And Mackenzie Davis isn't. She's a replicant.
And so these three things,
these three objects,
is all very interesting because you have Mackenzie Davis' character is like, oh, so
she wants to be like she's pro replicant. Yeah, she doesn't. But she is proud to be who she is.
Yeah.
And when she had the sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna go on with that point. Is like, yeah, like she's like, you don't like who you are, and also you are in love with this hologram when I'm like a real breathing thing. I'm like, sure, I'll do this for you, but I mean, like, it's pretty stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. Everybody has one of these.
She had the conversation with what's her face, the Wallace lady.
She did,
to try and figure out what Gosling knew about the baby. So do we think that because this was the part where I was kind of confused, because Joy calls her. So do we think that Joy somehow knew about this, mission that the Wallace assistant had for?
It's very possible.
It's possible that they programmed her. It's possible that they programmed her to call that specific person for the reason you're saying. But I think
it's just a massive coincidence, maybe.
See, okay. The only thing I think was purposeful was the fact that, if possible, was the fact that she was gonna call a hooker no matter what for her mans. But the fact is that she called that specific hooker, the one that met with Wallace, could have been a repercussion of them programming her to call that specific hooker or changing up.
Well, it was also someone
they had a conversation. They had a conversation right after the Wallace assistant. Her name in the movie keeps escaping me. But she walked right up to him with all of the other hookers, and they were like, "Oh no, this guy, he's a Blade Runner. We're out." And she sticks around. So Joy at least had that interaction because she's in the emulator at that point. She at least had seen or heard, witnessed that interaction between Gosling and the hooker. So it makes sense that she had called that person, but I was wondering if there were maybe another layer to it where, Joy was kind of working with the enemy, or there was some kind of,
I don't think she was, with Joy. Yeah, see, if it is that, I don't think she was knowingly working to hurt him. I think if anything, it was based upon some unknown programming that she received. But like you said, it could just be because she was with him in his pocket and she saw that was a hooker he talked to, and she felt that he was attracted to her. Could just simply be that. Schubert, am I missing any scenes that you have before I keep going?
No, the one thing about that moving forward is at that point is where he backs up everything onto the mobile device for Joy,
because she doesn't want to be taken over. Yeah, she doesn't want to be taken over by Wallace or be used to harm him. So she was like, delete it all for me. Yeah,
which goes back to that further point that maybe that they had been
using her
in her and using her before.
And she realized it, and she wanted it to stop before it got too bad. Possibly, Ian. Good little call right there. All right, the next thing I have is, like you said, Ana de Armas tells Gosling to take her with her, and if necessary, erase her. Literally the next thing I wrote down. After that, I got Leto's lady kills Robin Wright. Leto's lady, Love, got her name Love. She was going, wow, Love was a straight killer. Just took Robin Wright out. Robin Wright said, do what you got to do. And she said, oh, you don't think we can lie? See, you underestimating us replicants. We're smarter than you humans. I'm going to lie to Jared Leto and tell him you tried to kill me. That bitch was crazy.
Yeah, she didn't even she slit her stomach open, which is just a horrible way to die.
Straight samurai seppuku style, straight gutted her.
Yeah, so I'm saying like at least put her out of her misery quick.
And
You know,
yeah,
there's
and
faster ways to do that.
just do neck to neck and just end her. But
Mhm.
crazy. That shows love has no love for the humans. I think it's interesting. Her name is Love, and all she does is kill. Very, very
Well, I
interesting.
also thought the connection between love having a three-letter name and joy having a three-letter name was
Mm,
interesting.
very interesting. That is true. That is true. Crazy. All right. Next thing I have is Gosling meets Deckard. And then Deckard and Gosling fight. Deckard was just lucky Gosling didn't fight back because his old ass would have got whooped. I was like, Harrison Ford,
Facts.
your old ass is lucky that Ryan Gosling is not fighting you back. You'd have got smoked, buddy. So
You're right.
nice meeting Deckard. It was very similar to his Harrison Ford appearance. I mean, his Han Solo appearance, but different in a way. I thought because this movie happens because of Star Wars Force Awakens being successful, and they were like, oh, we can reboot all of Harrison Ford's old characters.
That's why we're getting Indiana Jones.
Exactly, that's a fact. So, but
Another
I
franchise
think
that needs to die.
I do think this is the best
Agreed.
version of Harrison Ford's characters rebooted. I think Deckard is the best choice, more so than Indiana Jones and Han Solo. But that's a conversation for another time. The next thing I have is the Tyrell Company comes for Deckard and Kay. Kay puts up a good fight, but love is too much for him and whoops his ass.
Yeah, well, she's got a bunch of help with the other.
Oh, with those other dudes. We also
agents,
learn
so-
about Rachel when we meet Deckard too, his wife. Well, the replicant that he schmangs with and has his baby. So we learn about her too a little bit in that conversation. The next scene I have is
Well,
Jared
also to be
Leto.
fair to Ryan Gosling. Also to be fair to Ryan Gosling, he had just gotten like stabbed from a piece of shrapnel, so he wasn't 100% either.
That's true, and he got his ass
Kinda
whooped
had
by
an easy time.
and he got his ass whooped by Deckard, even though it wasn't that bad, but still adds to the damage of him. The next thing I have is love destroys joy, stomps her out. Ooh, broke my boy Gosling heart. Felt bad for him. And then the next thing I have is the Resistance and Mackenzie Davis, aka Marionette, finds Gosling. Gosling talks to Freya about the baby and about how they gave their lives to protect it, and that's why Sapper let him kill him, and how they created an army to free the replicants. Also, Kay learns that he is not the chosen one.
No, he's not a girl.
Yep, he is not the chosen one. And I thought this was a great scene. It definitely is set up for sequel potential about the upcoming war and everything that they can do if they want to continue this. I thought this was the scene that gives them free range to, continue the Blade Runner series. The next thing I have after that is Wallace meets Deckard, and they have a conversation about Rachel and about what he's trying to learn about the baby. And then I wrote love kills fake Rachel.
Yeah.
That scene was interesting. Sorry, go ahead, Schubert.
No, you go.
Well, when I was watching that, like I say, it's been raining here the past couple of days, and I had my windows open, like all throughout my apartment. But in my bedroom, I had the blinds down, and that's a couple rooms away from me where I was watching in my living room. And so when he first sees her, the scene where she's walking up the steps, the trees outside started blowing real hard. And then when he touches her face for the first time, the blinds that I had down over my window just started smacking against the window real hard. And I was like,
what's going on?
Yeah, is anybody else seeing this, or is it just me? But yeah, but even without all of the nature's special effects behind it, I thought that was a really powerful scene. And I thought they did a really good job with whatever kind of special effects that they were using to make her look young, exactly the same as she did in the original movie.
Yeah.
It really just speaks towards the powers of modern editing and
deep fakes.
Exactly. Yeah. Another internet term.
That's a fact. Schubert, what were you gonna say?
Lynn's just exposing himself today
about this moment.
I was just saying, it goes back to what I'm saying about how the joy stuff is just all really interesting because, like, after we go through all of that is where he sees that advertisement where she.
Wait, let's wait for that because I think that's important. Yeah. All right. The next. Oh, and that's the next thing I wrote down.
Next thing.
Yeah. The next thing I wrote down is Kay meets Kay confronts fake joy and chooses to save the replicants. This is where he makes the choice instead of taking the perfect joy and going live a quiet life, he realizes that's not his joy. It would be someone different. It wouldn't be the person that he loved. It would just be a random robot, and he would be betraying his whole kind of people after he met all of these people and learned about them having souls and learned about them being individuals. They would kill him no matter what, so he might as well go and fight for what is right instead of believing Wallace, when in actuality, they would probably pin the murder of Robin Wright on him and end up killing him.
Yeah.
Well, and again, the quote that keeps echoing in Ryan Gosling's head is another big important one.
Yep.
Well, no, the woman who's like the leader of the resistance.
Freya.
I don't know if they ever explain her name. Yes, the woman with one eye. She says to him, the most human thing that we can do is dying for a noble cause. Facts. And when he's seeing that giant, projection of joy on the bridge as he's walking by, that quote echoes through his mind again, and I think is what ultimately drives him to make his decision to go after Harrison Ford.
Yeah, I mean, I think more so with the joy moment in that is that he comes to grips with, as much stock as he put into joy, this random joy
isn't the one.
Says everything, the same thing that joy said, even calling him Joe. And like, I feel like that was like the kicker for him. He was like, oh, so she never really gave me that name. It was just a name that was stockpiled within her programming. And it's like, that was never real. And like, now he's starting to realize that like, I think at the beginning of the movie, he never really considered himself to be real. And then in his journey of finding whether or not he's this miracle chosen child, and then learning more about the replicants and really realizing that he can live a real life to where he's real in his sense.
I think it's interesting that they named him Joe when in our world the people who buy prostitutes and hookers are called Johns. I thought that's just an interesting connection to the whole joy situation.
Well, I had Joy and Joe are only one letter off, and then you have the term your average Joe.
True. And your average Joey. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. Okay. And then the next thing I had.
With this whole, Schubert was, speaking to his whole kind of growth throughout this movie. I think the theme is kind of, for him at least, is like life is what you make of it. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessarily about the hand that you've been cast or, the role that you've been predestined to. It's
you choose your fate.
Exactly. What you got to go make the most of whatever you got.
That's a definitely that. I think that your humanness isn't determined by your memories. Your humanness is determined by the emotions you feel, the love you share, and the passion you determine for your life, and your output, which you determine for yourself, and your life's purpose is what makes you human. That doesn't necessarily, just because you have a soul and memory doesn't necessarily mean that you are a human. And I think Wallace is a perfect example of that. Wallace is someone who has a soul, who has memories, but he is less human than Ryan Gosling's K, because he doesn't know what it's like to love. He doesn't know what it's like to find. He has purpose, but his purpose clouds everything else that's around him, and he's missing out on life and actually living and experiencing it. He's more concerned with driving at that purpose and forgetting what's the things that matter in this world. And I think Wallace and Wallace and Kay are very interesting, contrasting people.
When I thought it was ironic that he named his assistant Love, when that's the one thing that he really lacks, he doesn't have love and empathy and emotion.
And that's what's supposed to make him human. Exactly. So,
and we could even take it a step further and say he's blind. And so that means he's kind of blind to love or blind to life.
And blind to justice too. We could go to all of those. The next thing I got is Kay gets redemption, kicks Wallace's bitch's ass. That's what I wrote, but kicks Love's ass. He gets his redemption, beats that bitch. Then Kay saves Deckard. Deckard meets his daughter. End of the movie.
That's the end of the movie.
Crazy we don't see any more Wallace, but I think that's because they want to save that for a sequel.
Yeah, there's definitely sequel potential here, or I guess it would be third movie at this point.
Third movie, yeah.
You have the kind of storyline with his daughter where she tells Ryan Gosling the first time that he meets her that, like, my parents had a ticket to one of the off-world, colonies, but I was, my immune system was compromised basically. So
Yep.
they put me here instead. You have the obvious, John Connor Terminator element. And then you have Harrison Ford's role in all this as well. He was kind of just the guy that vanished for 30 years and now he's back as well. So he could have some kind of contribution to whatever comes next. Plus,
also,
like
her storyline
Wallace,
is does leaving and does obtaining freedom make me human? I think that's her thought process to all of this. Like, I'm stuck here. I'm a prisoner of this. Does that make me not human? And then I think by seeing Harrison Ford reassures her, like, no, you do have a purpose in this. You are human. It's not it's not your fault that you were dealt this card, but you have to make the best of it.
Mm-hmm. And so the fact that Wallace, you don't really get a resolution with that as well, I think is really what sets it up for the third movie, because you have the good and the bad already
and the war
determined. Mm-hmm.
Now, Schubert, I want to ask you, with any Blade Runner future, we know there's an anime coming. Would you want to see the sequel to this in anime form, or would you want another movie?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Based upon everything we've talked about with Denis Villeneuve, I just don't think he has the space
time,
to be able to. Like, if they were going to do a theatrical release of an extension to this story, it would have to be told with a different director, and I just don't know.
And I don't know if they could do it
land the same. So it'd probably be better if they did push it to the anime.
And I think they're doing the in between of the first Blade Runner in this one, and I think that's the anime. And I think if that's successful, we can end up seeing a sequel, because I believe that's the anime we're getting from Toonami. I'm like 90% sure. Let me Google that real quick.
Yeah, but with Denis Villeneuve, like we mentioned earlier on, he completed Dune. He's got Cleopatra coming up. I mean, there's
it takes place in 2032, and it's in between this one and the original. So if that's successful, I think we could get one. Do
you think it will be? I mean, the first one and second one already kind of had below average success rates. Do you think that the average Blade Runner fan would be driven to an animated format? I mean, I know a lot of people older than our generation are skeptical of animation anyway.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of taken a turn, because you're getting a lot of animated stuff, and even kids-oriented animated stuff, like the Star Wars Clone Wars and Jurassic Park Camp Cretaceous, which is actually telling really great stories. So I feel like a lot of people are starting to get away from that, and like to trust in some of these animated properties. I think even some of the stuff that Netflix has done with the shows that, like the show you showed me, Castlevania.
Yep.
I mean, like, people are, and when Invincible just happening on Amazon,
I think it's the best time for that.
I think now's the time to tell stories in an animated property, because it's just way more accessible to continue those stories without having to get the actors.
Also, you have a built-in fan base, Ian. Like, all the people who love Cowboy Bebop, who love cyberpunk style, are going to watch this no matter if it's Blade Runner or if it's not. Then you have the Blade Runner fans who will watch it, and then you have just the normal anime fans who will watch it. So I think, if anything, it might serve as its best release more so than the first two movies, because it's animated.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, I'm not saying it won't work. I just think I was just asking,
no, that's a very good point.
To go watch it.
I'm definitely watching.
Those are two very different things.
And especially since it's on Toonami, has another built-in fan base, I think it's built to succeed.
Fair enough.
So, but all right, that's the movie. Real quick, what is the most beautiful shot of the movie, if y'all remember it? To me, Ana de Armas and Ryan Gosling looking at each other was great. I think when the car is originally flying over the farm and we get a look at all the aqueducts and everything from the outside view is beautiful. I think when we see Ryan Gosling walking on the orange stuff and you see all the high heels, I think that's a beautiful moment. And then when you first see the car flying through the city, the actual neon with the actual Los Angeles, I thought that was beautiful as well.
Yeah, I can't really think of too many examples. You mentioned some of the Ana de Armas stuff. The rain scene, I guess, is one that was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the early scenes, like you mentioned, right off the bat, you get like a really nice landscape shot. The stuff leading up to meeting Bautista, I feel like, was all pretty pretty well shot, but I just can't think of a lot of like examples because there are a lot.
That's fair. I threw it on y'all. I threw it on y'all randomly. Ian, if you have one, go ahead.
Yeah, there were a couple that stuck out to me. The first was when Ryan Gosling is trying to track down Harrison Ford, and he's got the kind of drone out in front of him, and it's clicking through the different
that was a great
lenses,
moment,
zooming in and zooming out. I thought that was really cool. And I liked they spent enough time on it, but not too much time to where it got boring. Like we had this whole search or something. And then the other thing that I thought was really interesting was after Ryan Gosling gets his ass beat and they capture Harrison Ford, then the Resistance people come find them. And there's the one very short scene where they're at a campfire and the hooker that he banged before is kind of watching over him. And all of a sudden the camera pans up and you see the embers
sparks,
from the fire rising up to the sky. And that transitions really smoothly into a shot of the neon in the city.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had the advertisement board up with Joy's face on it.
That was a good scene.
Yeah, I thought that was one of the best transitions because it was quick and it was subtle and there's really no dialogue in that campfire scene. But it was a great transition back to, okay, we got this going on over here with Ryan Gosling. Now let's go back to the city and see what's going on over there.
Also, when the cars coming up to the church where they're at, when you see the church from the outside perspective, that was beautiful as well as when Ryan Gosling's flying to the LAPD for the first time and you see the big LAPD logo on the background inside of that. And to counter that, the LAPD one, also the first time you see the Wallace Corporation. When he flies to the Wallace Corporation, you see this big conglomerate, beautiful shot. So those are just some
Did anybody get like Teen Titan Tower vibes
from the LAPD? Yeah,
building?
bro. Yeah. Big T, straight Big T, 100%. Good call. All right, let's get to it. Let's do winner of the movie first. I'll tell you all my nominations, then y'all can give y'all's, and as always, we'll talk through it and see who we pick. For me, I think the winner of this movie is not character-wise. I think it's outside of the movie. I think the three winners are Denis Villeneuve, Roger Deakins, and Ryan Gosling. Now, character-wise, I said Deckard because he got his daughter back.
I'm going to go back and look at our old run it backs and see how many characters Lynn actually picks for winners and losers versus actors. Because I think they've all been the actors rather than the characters.
Nah, I pick some characters sometimes. But I think this is a movie where the people on the outside actually benefited more than the people on the inside.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I would have to agree there because when I'm thinking about winners and losers, I can't really think about too many people in movie that really win or like really lose unless they die.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like Harrison Ford is the winner.
Okay.
Interesting.
The Harrison Ford as the character, like Deckard, or
yes,
Harrison Ford?
Yes,
yeah.
Deckard,
Yeah. He got his daughter
he survives
back. He survives. Yep.
30 years. He survives a run-in with the Wallace Corporation, and he finally gets to meet his daughter.
And he's kind of proved to replicants that
humans can be good.
Yeah.
For the most part.
But so I mean, I think we can all agree that Deckard probably is our winner as a character. But for me, winner-wise, I think Ana de Armas won for this movie.
I like that nomination more so than Gosling. I'm with you. More so than Gosling. It bursts her career. It shows how good of an actress is. This plus Knives Out gets her Marilyn Monroe. This shows like the depth of her acting. Knives Out did. She's not Marilyn Monroe without this movie. I like that. I'm going to go with Denis Villeneuve for the same reasons of how Ana de Armas got Marilyn Monroe for this. Denis Villeneuve gets Dune because of this. And Dune he shows that not only can I do these small movies like Prisoners and Enemy, but I can do the big blockbusters. And this was his chance to show like I'm a blockbuster director as well. So I'm going with Denis.
All right.
So
are we good there?
Oh yeah. So Schubert's going Anna, which I really love. That's a really good choice. Ian's going Deckard, and I'm going Denis Villeneuve. Damn, Schubert, you're making me want to change to Anna.
I did end up looking up her list, her film list, and besides Spanish language stuff she did really early in her career, the first movie that I recognized that she did was War Dogs.
But she was like the love interest in that. I thought she was just like some eye candy. Yeah, man. Okay, wait, no, you're right. By the rules of this, it's who won the most because of this movie. And I can't say Denis won the most because of this. If this was Arrival, I could say it because Arrival, he gets Oscar nominated. He gets this movie. He shows he could do sci-fi. I'm with you, Schubert. I'm going Ana de Armas. You're right. Ana de Armas' whole career was birthed because of this.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we still haven't seen Dune.
Yeah.
True. No, Schubert, you're
It
right.
could be a flop.
You are right,
Maybe.
Schubert. I'm going with Ana de Armas. So,
Yeah.
all right. Who do y'all think the losers are?
Who doesn't lose in this movie besides
True.
Harrison Ford?
Yeah, I mean, everyone kind of loses. I mean, I feel like even Kay loses.
I mean, he dies at the end. Yes.
Yeah, true. No. He doesn't die. Well, it's left. No, he doesn't die.
Yeah, it's kind of open-ended.
I mean, he's bleeding out of his stomach. He's got an open wound on his head for like half the movie.
I don't think he died. I'm gonna say he lived, but to me, the loser has to be Love. It has to be Wallace's lady. She drowns and she loses her love interest of Wallace, and Wallace doesn't even care about her, and she finds all that shit out.
I'd
that's fair.
subscribe to that.
Like, she loses everything, or you can say Robin Wright going out as a racist and loses early, gets killed early in the movie.
Yeah, she's not a racist though.
Well, I mean, she's a human.
She's Ryan Gosling in one of the scenes.
She's a replicantist, whatever that is. She was trying to bang Ryan. I don't think so, Ian.
No. Because then Joy goes home and she was like, "What? You weren't feeling your boss?" And he was like, "Nah."
Oh yeah, true. All right, yes, Love then. Love's or Joy. Joy gets smashed and just taken out. It's either Joy or Love.
I would say there are multiple losers. I think Joy isn't necessarily a loser because Joy is a computer program and probably exists in millions of other people's homes. So
I agree with Ian there. Like, I don't even consider Joy to be a character.
Oh, that's fucked up. Joy's a character, Schubert.
Joy's definitely well, is she a character or is she more of an overarching theme of this?
Yeah. I feel like she's like a symbolic character.
I think she can be a symbol and a theme and a character at the same time. She's all three.
Because like her joy, as we come to find at the end, really isn't that much different than all the other joys in the world.
True, but she has a storyline though.
But how many other storylines does she have?
Yeah, all right. I'm with y'all.
Like,
Love is the loser. Love is the loser.
She's a product. I mean, I wouldn't say my my PS4 has a storyline simply because I play with it.
Yeah, it's like, you know.
So okay, does Kay lose more than Love? Because Kay doesn't. Nah, I don't. The fact that he finds out he's not the chosen one. Yeah, I don't think he loses. It's Love. It's Love.
I would say Kay is a winner as well because he grows as a person, a human android person, whatever you want to call him, a replicant. He experiences positive character growth, and he ultimately, objectively or subjectively, makes the right decision to try and do the right thing and live a positive life and help people. So even if he does die at the end, which I think he does because they do the slow zoom out in the snow above him, usually that only happens when a character dies.
I don't think he died, Ian. Let us know in the comments if you think Kay dies. If you think Ryan Gosling dies, let us know yes or no.
But I don't think he necessarily loses even if he does die because he is the main character of the movie.
True.
I don't think that's even a debate. And he affects positive change in the world by keeping Harrison Ford alive and introducing him to his daughter and helping to put a small wrinkle in the Wallace empire by killing Love.
Yeah, it's got to be Love. Love is the loser. Bitch, get out of here.
I think so.
All right.
Robin Wright probably takes the runner-up position for loser because she just gets killed.
True. Now it's time to go into the most heated debate. I'm going to tell you who I'm not accepting as sixth man. I don't care what y'all say. Sixth man of the movie, I'm telling y'all who's not accepted. Ryan Gosling, Ana de Armas, Harrison Ford, Jared Leto, and Love. Those are the starters of this movie. Can we agree on that?
Yeah,
I agree.
All right. Now let's get to sixth man. Who y'all got? And I hope we have the same answer.
I know who Lyndon's going to say.
This person came in and lit the movie ablaze. When this person was on the screen, no matter how long it was impactful, and this person's whole motto message was carried throughout the movie. Sixth man of the movie is Dave fucking Bautista as Sapper Morton. Am I wrong? Who you got, Ian?
Are you a six man if you don't play as many minutes as Lieutenant Joshi, aka Robin Wright? Or are
Yes,
you more
because
of a
you got
seventh
more.
or eighth man?
You're a better six man. You got more points. I think he got more buckets than Robin Wright did, and I think he was a better defender than Robin Wright.
Unbelievable, this guy. Robin Wright is the lieutenant. Robin Wright sticks
What did
up
she
for
do?
Ryan Gosling.
What did she
gives him
add?
48 hours to go figure his shit out. She not only that, but she's a positive influence in his life, you know, trying to help him along. And also she tries to bang him at one point, showing that she's not a racist or
A replicantist.
Replicantist, if
Robotist.
you will. Yes.
Fuck Robin
She has
Wright.
Greater,
That's your six
she has a
man.
greater overall. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, how are we comparing these role players here? What's the?
I'm just
what's
going
the
for the best role.
qualifications that we're
It's the
stacking
best
up here?
role player. That's what the
I'll
six man
bet-
award is.
I'll back you both up because like when I first I was thinking Robin Wright.
Oh.
And I just felt like based upon not being a starter and the impact that she had in the movie, more so in the middle, fits for that role. But you know what you're saying, Lyndon, it also does make the case. I think it was what you said at the end that really kind of drives it home is that the themes of the conversation that he has with Batista shine
the overall
through the entire movie.
Yeah, that's a fact. Now, if I'm gonna give it to someone besides Batista, I can make the argument for Marionette, Mackenzie Davis's character,
The hooker?
over Robin Wright.
Yeah, well, she does play a
pivotal
she's
role.
not
Yeah,
a hooker, Schubert. Don't laugh at me for that. I'm calling her by her job title.
He didn't know her name. That's fair. That's so fair.
She plays the pivotal role of setting him up with the tracker so that Love and the Wallace Corporation can track him. And also she, you know, kind of
saves his life, makes
him question himself when she asks him, "Oh, so you prefer the robot? Like I'm a real, you know,
being." Yep.
Again, we go back to this theory, you know, this question of how alive are they? But she's more alive, so to speak, than Joy is.
Yep.
And so, he gets to schmang her, apparently. You know,
he does get to schmang.
He does get to schmang.
So are we considering that a three-way then?
No.
Yes.
Oh, wait. No. Wait. There's no way you can say that's a three-way if you're gonna say Joy's not a character, bro. You can't have it both ways. Just because I have a pocket pussy when I'm banging my girlfriend does not mean that that's a three-way between the pocket pussy, me, and my girlfriend. No, that's a sex toy we use in the bedroom. She's a sex toy, if anything.
Well, you know, that pocket pussy also does the same things that all the other pocket pussies do to all the other penises. So,
well, that's why she's a sex toy. She's a sex toy.
That's why.
So in that case,
that's not a threesome if you have a sex toy. Joy
the pocket pussy?
Joy's the pocket pussy.
No, because
that's
Joy
that's
is
a fair
the one
point.
that
that's a good question.
Yeah, Mackenzie Davis is just the actual.
Oh man, let us know in the comment who's the pocket pussy, Joy or Mackenzie Davis's character Marionette. These are great questions. We're off our rocker on this one. But six man to me, Dave Bautista. That's who I'm rocking with.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dave Bautista as
Let's
well.
go, Schubert. Are you going with Dave Bautista too?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. I convinced y'all. That's what's up. Usually Ian takes the convincing role. Schubert has convinced us sometimes, but I'm glad I won this one.
I want to shout out the file clerk, the bald dude. Isn't he in Barry as well? Or am I thinking of a different character?
Which one?
Remember the bald dude?
Oh, Thomas No, it's a different character, Ian. I know who you're thinking of in Barry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's not in Barry. You're thinking
not
of
the same guy.
Hold on, I'm gonna tell you exactly who you're thinking of, just so I can.
That guy's in Snowpiercer.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men Apocalypse.
You're thinking of Anthony Carrigan.
Okay,
he's in Gotham. The Gotham's the only thing.
Oh, are you thinking about the guy who's got Zaz in Gotham?
Yep. Who's in Barry?
It's not that guy.
Yeah, no, it's not him.
The same guy.
All right, word. Well, we talked about, do we want a sequel? We talked about the most beautiful shots. We talked about Denis Villeneuve. We talked about Ryan Gosling. We answered all our questions and got through the categories. Now it's time for the ultimate ranking system. Right now, the running back king, at least for not comedies. For comedies, it's super bad. But this isn't a comedy. This falls under the drama. Right now, the running back king is The Godfather with 9.2 or 3, I think. 9.2 or 3. Let's see where or it might even be 9.4. What are we scoring? Blade Runner. I'll start with you, Ian. 1 through 10. Give it to us.
Oh, we always start with me, and I pick some ridiculous number.
All right, I'll start with Schubert then. Schubert, 1 through 10. Let's get it.
8.5.
8.5. Ooh, okay. Ian, what you got?
I was gonna say 8.4.
All right. 8.5 plus 8.4. I'm gonna say 8.8 divided by 3.
So that's 8.7.
It is 8.6. I'm good because I'm gonna round it up. It's 8.56 repeating. So this movie we rated at 8.6. I think that's fair. I think that's a solid rating for this movie. It's not the best Denis Villeneuve movie, but by no stretch of the mean is it anything lower than an 8. No way on God's green earth. It's a good movie, super solid, and I definitely think it's worth people watching. It's going to be interesting to see where we rank the rest of Denis Villeneuve's movies because we're not.
I was going to say IMDb has it at straight 8.
Nice.
8 out of 10. And I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes right now.
So since we did sci-fi, I was thinking we would start Star Wars next, but since we just did sci-fi, we're not going to start Star Wars. So my question to y'all is, do we want to go to another director, or is it time to go back to the comic book movie genre?
No, we didn't ask the most important question, which is this better than the original?
Oh, you're right. I think it is 100%.
I agree. I liked Blade Runner, but it was kind of
it felt disjointed. It was horribly paced too.
It was a victim of its time as well. I mean, just the 80s special effect, like you could feel the time period
that it felt an old movie. Yeah.
Movie.
Like there's certain old movies that you watch that feel like they're timeless. Like when I watch Reservoir Dogs does not scream to me. But Reservoir Dogs doesn't tell me that, oh, this was made in the 90s. Let me use Lethal Weapon doesn't scream to me that it's an 80s movie. Like it feel like there's certain movies from that time period that feel time. Taxi Driver doesn't feel like it's a 70s movie.
That's a good
I think not only just the apartment furniture and things like the office furniture and the police station and things like that, but for being a movie, I think it's unfortunate now that we've actually reached the year 2019 and beyond. So we see all of the technological advancements.
Their technology advancements were trash. Like all they had in the original Blade Runner was a flying car.
Exactly. I don't think they tried very hard to make it seem futuristic. Whereas this movie, even I feel like when we get to 2049, we may not have some of these technological advancements. Hopefully we won't have the dystopian future that Lynn is looking forward to.
I just want dusters and to be a bounty hunter. I literally want you to be able to be a bounty hunter to go catch criminals and make a shit ton of money with my laser guns. Schubert would be a bounty hunter with me. He'd be my partner. And then we'd pod after. We would be like, hey, we're catching these bounties today. And then we just pod. Like, good little job, good little life.
But I think even once we get there, it'll still feel futuristic.
No, for sure. I'm with you on that. Now, okay, so we all think it's better than the original. Easy question.
Yeah, by the way, the Rotten Tomato, it was 88% fresh, 81 audience score.
Nice. So we're at the right spot.
So we're about right there.
Where do we want to go next, gentlemen? Do we want to go to the world of Quentin Tarantino again? Do we want to go to the world of Christopher Nolan? Where do we want to go next, gentlemen? I don't want to do a comedy
for another Tarantino.
That's fair. Or if we do a comedy, we got to do Dodgeball. If we do one, but I think it's too soon for another comedy
this time. Yeah, I think it's too soon for another comedy. We got to take like a drama of some kind.
Have we done a comic book movie?
Scott Pilgrim's the only one. That's why I think it's time to do a comic book movie.
Does that? But I mean, I don't know.
Does that count? No, I don't. Counts. We don't have to count it. Is it time to pull out the Dark Knight card?
Oh, well, I don't.
Which comic book movie would we do? Iron Man?
Yeah, that or the first Avenger.
Oh, I'm not. Oh, the first Avenger.
Or like, just talking about.
We could do Batman Begins. Really
I mean, I despise Captain America movies, so.
See, that's what I'm saying. He don't like Captain America movies. I'm not doing the first Avengers is horrible in my opinion. Hot take. Don't fuck with it. But Ian, I would do Captain America Winter Soldier with you. I like that movie.
Yeah, I want to stay away from Marvel because I feel like if we do one Marvel movie,
we're gonna have to do them all eventually. That's why if we're gonna start with it, it has to be Iron Man at first.
That's fair. And I would watch Iron Man again just for the nostalgia factor.
But Schubert is right. It's time we do a comic book movie. We should either do X-Men First Class, Iron Man, Batman Begins, or the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Those are the 4 I'm thinking that'll be in the poll. I like all of them.
Sam Raimi Spider-Man?
The first one. Tobey Maguire.
You're talking about
movie one with Green Goblin.
The Green Goblin, yeah.
Green Goblin, Tobey Maguire. Do those sound like good choices to y'all?
Yeah.
Works for me.
All right, that could be the poll, unless we think of something before the next poll.
Say that again. You said Spider-Man,
Tobey Maguire.
Dark Knight.
No, not Dark Knight. Batman Begins.
Oh, good. Okay.
Batman Begins. Because if we're gonna do Dark Knight, we're gonna start with Batman Begins, Iron Man, or X-Men First Class.
I thought we just do all 3 Christopher Nolan Batman movies in order. But maybe I'm a psycho for saying that.
Look, I'm saying.
I mean, those are
if
the
you
best
want to do
movies
you want to do
there
them in
are.
a row, like one after the other, and for run it back, like so we get the set.
Yeah, we can do a run it back series.
Oh well, then
The
fuck
Dark
it.
Knight series.
Fuck it. We could do the Batman series and make that our first comic book thing. I'm down. Either way, we'll figure that out.
I got all the movies.
I have them too. They're all on HBO Max too. So fuck it. All right, yeah. Well, then I'm letting y'all know now. We're either gonna do Iron Man and start our MCU path, or we're gonna do the Dark Knight series, like Ian said, and just knock them out. Batman Begins in 2 weeks. Dark Knight in 2 weeks. Dark Knight Rises. And I really don't want to review Dark Knight Rises because it's asshole. But
it's pretty bad.
If we got to, we will.
It's definitely the worst of the 3.
We can even do wait. How do we feel about an animated comic book movie?
I'm talking about Mass Phantasm.
Yes, Schubert.
Yeah, Ian's never seen that.
I have not seen that.
Boy, it's the best, Ian. It's the best Batman movie ever. Schubert, am I off?
You're not too far off.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're either going to be doing an animated DC movie or one of the Batman movies. All right, I'm down.
What I was
going to
say
comic books.
I was interested in that X-Man vibe because I love First Class. And
we'll put it up. We can do a poll. We can do multiple polls. We'll figure it out because I'm not mad to do next one.
Do we just do a poll of animated superhero movies like Flashpoint Paradox and those kind of deals?
Well, again. Now, if we start that,
that's a good one.
I think I'm down to do animated DC movies. Mask of the Phantasm would be in the poll. Flashpoint Paradox would be in the poll because if we start with that one, then Justice League War could be the next animated movie we do.
So, yeah,
you have to start with Flashpoint Paradox. The other one we put in there could be Justice League Doom. That's what I'm saying. It could be any of the other like randoms, like Justice League Doom, Red Sun, Gotham by Gaslight, any of the random like Batman Hush, like any of those random ones. Killing Joke could be, but I don't want to. That movie sucks.
Batman Ninja
could be in it. All right, we're doing animated DC for the next one. We're doing comic book. These guys have sold me. But that's all we got. Y'all make sure to check out the poll coming within a couple days. Be sure to check that out and see which one we're doing next. Ian, tell the people where they can follow you on social media.
You can find me on Twitter at IanBWT. That's IANBWT. 6 simple letters get you in with me. And you can find me on Instagram at IanHawley12. And you can find the links to my music in the bio. Don't call me out for my OnlyFans link tree. I do not have an OnlyFans, and I will not be starting an OnlyFans anytime soon unless you as the viewers just really desire that. We can work something out. I'm gonna have a high subscription fee. I'll tell you that much.
Y'all make sure y'all go follow Ian and check out all this stuff. Schubert's phone died. We're not waiting for it to come back. It's the end of the pod. Y'all go follow my guy at Schubert14. Make sure you check out
No. They don't need to find him. Don't worry about him.
I'm gonna help him out. Follow Schubert14. Make sure you check out the latest episode of the Bros Who Binge. We review Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. We're also going to be talking the latest news and stuff in movies. Make sure you check that out. By the time you guys hear this, it's out. Follow the Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think. You can follow me at LinBWT. The link to the Discord is in the description below. And again, make sure you vote in the next poll to find out what we do next. But for Ian, for Schubert, my name is Lyndon. You guys have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Until then, peace.